No, they can't get you back. No, no, they can't. No, they can't. No.
What's going on, guys? It's Arsenal versus Leeds. A little bit of injury list today. Norgard, Ben White, Leandro Trossard, they're all going to face late fitness tests. You know, Gabriel Jesus, he started his first stage of light training today. Don't expect him back until November. And it's not going to be a tough game today against this relegated team. Arsenal got a great record against Leeds, unbeaten in the last 14 games. I think the last time they lost was 2003, Mark Viduka goal that was. So I expect them to come here and just kick 7 lumps of crap out of us, because that's all that they've got going for them. And Arsenal really to fully envelope this expectations of Gyokeres, Zumbamendi today. And I'm hoping to see Eze on the field after he had his medical yesterday. I'm hoping to see that. But outside of that, it should be business as usual today. I'm looking for a stress-free. I always say that. Every time I say I'm looking for a stress-free game, something goes wrong. Like we get a red card, and then we're fighting survival all the way to the last minute of the game. Kind of foolishness like that. But today I'm hoping not for that. What I can say, though, is well done to Spurs for knocking off Man City off their perch. I mean, how many goals? I think that's like 11 goals that Spurs have scored at the Etihad Stadium over the last 4 years. That's incredible, their record there. And all it is that they go all guns blazing. There's a plan, obviously, but they plan just to attack, and they work harder than everyone else. And I remember when they came here and had a 2-2 draw the season before, and everybody expected Arsenal to roll over Spurs. Tripped over our feet a lot. Jesus missed a sitter, and then I believe it was it Saka that made the mistake that caused Maddison to score a goal. And they're just that kind of team. And before that game, the way teams were approaching Arsenal was like tippy-toeing low block, because they know if you try and play football against Arsenal, they'll just destroy you. But Spurs didn't have that mindset. They just came in and they didn't really care about the reputation. And they do that to City all the time. You look at how Wolves approached City last week. They were like deers in the headlights, scared and just allowing City to come at them. Spurs wasn't giving them any time on the ball today. And I think there's a lesson for everybody to go on and sort of just face up to Manchester City for who they are. That being said, Foden and Rodri came off the bench. And so I think the best is still yet to come for them. But for me, it was a little bit of a humbling experience for City after that 4-0 win at Wolves last week. I mean, for them, they got a bit of a run in now. They got to come here as well at the Etihad in a couple of weeks. So yes, all eyes on Arsenal today, and hopefully we'll be able to get the job done. 3 or 4 goals would be nice. And I'll catch up with you guys once I hear the team sheet, which shouldn't be quite shocking at all. Guys, I forgot to shout out Africana here on Seven Sisters Road. Let me looks like. It's what the menu looks like here. Second time I've been here before. Then I had the chicken and maple syrup. So if you guys are coming down to the game today, make sure you check it out. And speak to you guys soon. Okay guys, team sheet is out. It's pretty much same team. Raya in goal. Timber comes in for Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori as your defence. Zumbamendi, Declan Rice, Odegaard, you midfield. And we talked about it on the stream last week. Arteta's finally pulled the trigger. It didn't take him long. Martinelli playing himself out of the team last week. Look, I was trying to be as fair as I could with Martinelli. I said, playing for a couple of games, let him make it his job to lose. Yeah? If you're the manager and you've brought in all this talent, you want to come in and make sure that not only do you give everybody a chance, but you at least pay dividends to the people who you've trusted in the first place. He started Martinelli last week. It didn't work. It didn't work for all kinds of levels. And I would say in the stream I pointed out that when Odegaard had them 5 attacks that blew up and didn't work, 2 of them was because Martinelli didn't make the right runs. And you could see that in the frustration in Odegaard. So as the team's watching the footage and the film, the coaches are pointing all of that out. So I know a lot of the fans are saying, Odegaard, Odegaard, it's your fault. But when you actually look at the analytics and the runs and the angles that these strikers are making, Martinelli just doesn't make himself an option in the open field. And that's where you have progress in that final third, when you're able to find a space, you're able to pick the pockets, and then you can sort of make a development on those. Martinelli didn't do that, and it's cost him today. We'll be able to see whether Madueke will be able to do the same things. We know he's dynamic. We know in terms of his dribbling skills, he has the ability to go past players better than Saka. So a lot of this is now going to sort of fall on how dynamic he can be in this team. What difference is going to make with his ability to get the ball at feet, penetrate into the box, and then bring others into play. Gyokeres can do it as well. We've seen Gyokeres do it as well. So it's going to be a completely different new thing here that we're going to see. But yeah, unfortunately, Martinelli has dropped. But it's not a bad thing. I've said it many times. Bring Martinelli on at 70 minutes, and he's a very, very good impact player. He proved that last season when he lost his role to Trossard. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. That is exactly where we need him. That's exactly where he can shine. So we're again putting another player into a position where he will shine. So hopefully that is a good positive thing. I'm coming up to North Banksy's picture now, which was terrorised by Tottenham fans last night. Boy, them guys can't leave it alone, can they? And so I think it's on the right hand side, but I'm going to come to it in a second. When I do, I'll show you guys what's going on. But yeah, there's no Eze on the bench today, but Max Dowman is on the bench, so he's in position to make his first senior debut for Arsenal officially, and I can't wait for that to happen, because it's just the quality is just pouring into the team from all different angles now. We've already seen Ben White not being able to play today. Timber comes in. Miles Lewis-Skelly, after 2 games already, who was one of our stars last season, still hasn't had a start. So there's a lot of clear pictures here. I'm trying to find out where the North Banksy is. I think it's on the other side. This is the side that North Banksy was on with the picture of Eze, which I'll come to in a second. And it's right here. This is where the picture is here. Obviously, Tottenham fans tried to do their foolishness last night, and so what we've done is we've just basically painted over it, and maybe he'll try again. You can see some of the paint down here on the bottom, and this is the dross from them Tottenham fans who absolutely didn't like it. Don't worry about that. They got to do what they got to do. That's the only way that they can fight, even though they broke up Man City today. But you can see it all starting to kick off behind me. And let me just this is still from last season. So all of the ones here, the pictures, these ones haven't really been updated as such. So yeah, so all good guys. I'm just going to go in the armory to find out if there's anything new, whether the training top's on sale now, and if it is, then I'll show you a few pictures. If it isn't, then don't worry, I'll catch up with you guys at half time. I believe Emerson is actually supposed to be here at the game today. I hope he is. Can get a couple of thoughts from Emerson. But outside of that, I'm staying with my prediction of 3-0 Arsenal today. With Madueke in there, it could get nasty. It could get worse. And we could get a real run in, man. I tell you, if the goals start to come in, it's going to get pretty nasty out there. Here's Emerson. What's going on, my man, Emerson? How's things, bro?
Good.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. What's your prediction today? 3-2. Ooh, a tight one you're going for. You know, the worst thing about it is I went for a Sunderland win today at Burnley, and I didn't go for a Villa win. And actually, no, I did go for a Villa win, and both those teams went down 1-0. That's just a Premier League, isn't it? You know?
And Man City.
Exactly, I'm Man City. So
I'm absolutely shocked with that result.
Yeah, after week 2, we're thinking it's going to be one thing, and it turns into another. And that's just the strength and beauty of the Premier League. So listen, guys, I'll catch you at half time.
Tough brother, that's word to me father. Man, I'm in the villain, but I'm really Peter Parker. Been through I got a story like Saga. Even when I'm low, I step like Met Gala. High fashion, more drip, more passion. Big talent, big heart they can't manage. Got sauce, I'm the runway assassin. Met Gala things, I stay fly like dragon. Yeah, I got the recipe, got your boo testing me. I don't want your ting, boy, come collect Stephanie. Ain't looking back, man, I'm looking to the left. Niggas when my bro switched up, that really affected me. Whoa, I move like the Flash, but I'm taking things slow. Red and yellow drip on my way to the dough. Married to my craft, so my skin's on glow. Ain't marrying no BITC. So far you see that gliss, all that man's all a drip. They see that bling bling, I know they can't resist. My diamonds outside Chris, my car that shit like Chris. I'm staying on that, nigga staying on bliss. I'm fashion, more drip, more passion. Big talent, big heart that can't manage. Good sauce, I'm the runway assassin. All the things I stay fly like dragon.
Yo, high fashion, more drip, more talent. Zigging dunting for that fame with no raw talent. Put them in the bin, I dust away that raw trashing. Still thrashing, that hater just won't happen. You want a lease on life, get some buzz and get some hype. It's enough to make me wanna come and set the price. It's enough to make me wanna come and set it right. It's enough to make me wanna come and press your life. Learn a lesson, you're begging for it, come and check it. I hold it down and toss you round, you need some more setting. I amplify it all around and like the whole room. My king dependent, set a whole moon. Bars thicker than your thighs after Whole Foods. Time's ticking for these bitches, I'm a whole mood. It's alright though, these young pups still learning. I leash them up and said,
Yeah, so guys, as you could see in the armory, they had quite a few new stuff in there, but nothing that I thought would really is going to stand out. I think for me, it's just a lot of stuff in there, and if you're like me, you've got a bazillion Arsenal tops. It's going to take something really special for me to buy something that's going to stand out, that's going to knock you off their socks. But no, I didn't really see anything in there, but hopefully you guys would have seen the footage and you'd have seen something that you liked, and when you next pop around here, you can go and pick it up if it's still in stock. The place was crowded, man. Normally see it full like that when it's the first game of the season, but yeah, it's manic down there. As for Max Dowman, guys, Max Dowman, there are some things about his age and how much football he's actually allowed to play. His parents are here as well. Eze's in the building. We're possibly going to see him before the game or half time. They're going to take him out and show him to the fans. But yeah, the Max Dowman situation is quite interesting. What they're going to do with them, how long are they allowed to play him for? Honestly, I think if you play him for longer than 20 minutes, then you're doing an injustice to the kid, because at 15 years old, you can't be really playing them guys any longer than 20 minutes on there. So I think it would be something the coaches, the parents, and all the doctors would be talking about, because of the risk it is to someone like him. Leeds, of course, they're going to come here and they're going to just try and body us all over the place. And so we need to be really careful with Max Dowman. You can't be out there doing silly things, making silly decisions on how much you're playing a guy like that. But atmosphere today is great, guys. The time is 5 o'clock. We're half an hour away from kickoff. Still going with 3-0 Arsenal. Guys, it's half time. It's Arsenal 2, Leeds 0, and the result is exactly what we wanted. I did say if we go 2-0 up at half time, then it's going to be a very comfortable game, which could end up 3-4, 5-0. Speed of the game, the movement has been too much for Leeds. It just has. I mean, they've been suffocated in their half for more than 35 minutes. And in the last 10 minutes, they kind of started growing into the game. Odegaard carrying a knock, he eventually went off for Ethan Nwaneri. Nwaneri, as I said, he's got to show me something at the 10. I like what I see from him when he's playing out right, but every time I see him in the middle, it looks like he's a development player. So now's the time for him to shine. Let's just hope that the injury to Odegaard isn't as serious. And talking about the goals, another set piece, Declan Rice, 2 assists now for the season for Declan Rice in 2 games. Lovely header from Yuri and Timber that puts Arsenal up 1-0 from a corner. Gyokeres came close. A poor back pass, then we was able to pounce off it. Gyokeres hit it first time, probably had enough time to take a second touch on it, if I'm honest, and just goes wide left of the post. And then Saka with a beautiful strike with his right foot, puts it top left corner. Goalie doesn't stand a chance. Just before half time, Arsenal go up 2-0, but it's the display that's been frustrating. Defence has been okay, Reyes hit some superb distribution balls over. But we talk about this, we're going back to the well every single week. Arsenal without Thomas Partey in transition just look normal. And they have to find a way. And I don't understand why they just play a double pivot, because every time you've played without Thomas Partey in the past, you've played with 2 men in the midfield, whether it's normally Jorginho and Declan Rice, or Jorginho and then an inverted. But we're going with the single pivot. We're doing it without Partey. And it just doesn't look good. It's just very slow build-up play. The movement doesn't compensate. We're not hitting the targets up front, and unfortunately, it's going to be a work in progress. You've got Liverpool coming up next week, and so really, there's no time for that. You've got to start hitting the blocks quickly, and I don't think Arteta's figured that out yet. It's weird. I mean, if I was Arteta, honestly, I would just go with a double pivot in the second half and try and settle things down in the midfield, because we're not finding the bodies there. We're lacking bodies, lacking space. There's not, the gaps close up and the space close up very quickly, so it doesn't give you the time that you want, and we're taking too much time. And Zubimendi ought to know that he's a quality player. You've got to know that you've got to receive the ball and hit it quickly. If there's nothing through the middle, then get it out wide. We're taking too long to make those decisions, and when Gabriel brings the ball up, there is Madueke always available on the left, but Gabriel is choosing to go back to Saliba and rotate and recycle with Reyes. So it's very negative, very slow, very frustrating build-up play from Arsenal, and so I would expect a little bit more tinkering from Arteta in the second half. I'll speak to you guys at full time. So guys, an emphatic win, Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. It's just the result that you wanted. It's just the start that they wanted. And after a very sloppy first half, they really came into it. Into the second half, things started clicking. Martin Zubimendi really started to get a foothold on the game. And as substitutions were made, all 5 were used. No Martinelli today. And what does that got to tell you in terms of his first week performance? But when Max Dowman came on, we saw a few things from the guys. I've always talked about Ethan Nwaneri. Every time I've seen him at the 10, he's been okay. But on the right-hand side, he's been so dynamic with the amount of goals and penetration he had last season. But I've never really seen that at the 10 position. And today in the 10, he did okay. He didn't really set the world on fire. I thought he had some nice moves. But in terms of creativity, in terms of pressing, Ethan Nwaneri at this point in time is not Martin Odegaard, so that's still a work in progress in my regard. What we've got with Ethan at the 10, but there's plenty of time to get it done. He's got a perfect player in front of him to kind of guide his way through on what to do in that position. Max Dowman, though, different level. Max Dowman is different level. He is on another planet, guys. This guy comes on and does exactly what he did in pre-season against Newcastle. Just constantly taking people on the right-hand side, beating players, have him blaze through. His positioning is exceptional. His first touch is elite. Always puts him in good position to make runs and cut the ball through. Again, won another penalty like he did it in pre-season. And Gyokeres, the power, the pace on the penalty just really sends the goalkeeper the other way. That's 2 goals, 2 and 2 for Gyokeres. He's a goal a game guy, isn't it? That's what we bought. We bought a guy who was literally having a goal a game, and that's exactly what he's given us in the first 2 games. And quite frankly, Gyokeres' performance, I thought, was okay. He's making some great, fantastic runs, but we're lacking the vision in midfield to give Gyokeres the ball, and that's going to be a work in progress. There's got to be something Arteta's going to be talking about in training. When they're reviewing the film, all the runs he's making, the penetration, it's just not coming through to the midfield. So they're going to have to understand that, look, you're going to have to put that ball through there, he's going to make the run, and then you're going to get that one-on-one opportunity. This is what Kevin De Bruyne does with Haaland. There wasn't much to it. Haaland just said to him, put the ball in the box and I'll be there. We still haven't got the memo. That's not come through to us. That's where we're struggling. Big transitional issues with Arsenal, which they've got to work on. Liverpool's up next week, but the depth of the squad, guys, we've lost Havertz, we've lost Saka, we've lost Odegaard. And look what we're doing. You know, normally by now you'd say the season's over. You lost those guys. God knows how bad the injuries are. Hopefully they're short term. But when you look at the wealth of the talent coming off the bench, it's incredible, guys. And the other thing is due dues to Arteta. Last year, a lot of people were saying Mikel wasn't making the changes he needed to. Mikel, after being 2 or 3-0 up after 60, 70 minutes, he wasn't making the changes. This game, after 65 and 70 minutes, he was making wholesale changes. This is what we want to see from you, Mikel, all the way through the season. You do not have to play your stars for 90, 95 minutes a game when you've got quality on the bench. And well done today for you. Excellent, excellent man management. And just a really good game second half. Really, really good performance from Zubimendi, I thought, in the middle of the park. Declan Rice, very patient as well. My man of the match, Yuri and Timber, just a key aspect in what we were doing down on the right-hand side and through the middle. 2 goals and 1 assist. And to think Ben White was supposed to start today. Isn't that crazy? I'll speak to you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.
We made it this far, so I can't complain. Let's take, let's take a trip down memory lane.